Today I'm going to talk about getting started in your wedding business and building a little bit of momentum. Let's do it. Creating momentum for your business in the beginning is the most difficult thing in the world. You know, you're torn between a passion for your photography and a fear that no one is going to care or notice you. Also, the fact that you see many, an overwhelming amount of other photographers all around you who are all more established, have more experience, and seem to dominate the marketplace is probably not helping matters. I totally get it. Before I go any further, I might as well take a 180-degree turn here and try and talk you out of becoming a full-time wedding photographer. Yes, you heard right. Out of it. Let me explain. Before you focus on creating momentum for your business, you need to, in fact, have a business to send clients to. I mean, that makes sense, right? This is all going to have very, very little to do with photography, as you're going to learn as we move along here. You're going to be spending 90% of your time doing things that have nothing to do with photography in order to get the business that you're going to need to do this full time. It's a little ironic how that ends up working, but it's true. You're only going to be spending 10% of your time actually shooting anything, if that. So, the first thing that I would advise is to make damn sure that this is what you really want. Don't just be romantic with the idea of becoming a photographer. Understand, it's going to be much fucking harder to achieve this than any other normal career that most people have. I mean, full-time wedding photographers that can actually sustain their lifestyles are among the 2% of the population that get that privilege. And I know this because I live this every day, and it is definitely not easy. I've had to become many things over the years to stay in the game at the level in which I do. Please keep that in mind. You need to be able to let go of some of the passion around photography itself and be willing to invest that into becoming what I would call a modern day business person who is willing to put that aspect before anything else in their life. You need to also understand that photography will always be second to this, always. So if you're a true lover of the art of photography, then turning this into a business might be the wrong move for some of you. You're going to learn all on your own that it very much becomes all business all the time once things are in motion. And this really takes a big toll on that once fantasy of just being paid to snap away with the camera because you once upon a time loved making pictures. So if this concept scares you, then I would invite you to do some more soul searching and kind of research on your own what it's going to really take. And you're going to find that what I'm saying is 100% true. I would also consider not turning your passion of photography into a business and just keep it that, a passion and a beautiful outlet of creative freedom that you can always enjoy. Once it's a business, that feeling is probably going to fade away, and that might happen for good. But if you're a filthy tiger like me and you love the business and lifestyle of it more than the actual photography and are confident in yourself, that's super required to do any of this. Then let's keep talking. So first, right out of the gate, you need some money. And I'm going to say that again. You're going to need some money. You don't start any business without any money, and photography is no different. The more money that you have, the quicker this transition is going to be. See, the money buys you time. You're basically going to be investing in yourself, which is why you need to be very self-confident. If you have no money or you're not confident enough in your abilities to take on the debt, then this is going to take years and years for you and likely will never pan out. If you do invest in yourself and you follow the proper pathways of doing things, which I can teach you, then you can possibly be on your way within 6 months to a year. Now, I quit my job in July of 2010, and by September of 2011, I had already grossed about $100,000 in wedding contracts. So that's what, 14 months, right? That was my reality, and logically, all of this can be replicated with the right formula. This only makes sense and should be even better this time because I've already done it and I can bring with me all the mistakes that I've learned along the way. So the question becomes, how much money? Well, I would plan on at least $10,000 in gear and other miscellaneous items to kind of get the ball rolling, and then you're going to need another $10,000 or $15,000 in marketing dollars to get yourself on the radar for potential clients. So I would look for a low interest credit card and get yourself a $25,000 line to kind of work with to get started. This, of course, assumes that you have nothing saved like most people and or other investors in your corner. Now, don't fight or argue any of this. Take the debt and understand it's a business, be responsible, and pay it off within the first 36 months, and then you're done and left with a business that will pay you over and over again. You're not spending the money, you're investing it. It's only a game of time. The sooner that you accept this, the sooner that you're going to make real money and get on with your life. If you poke along and you kick and you scream and you try to save up for years, you're going to miss out on now and likely won't be anywhere near as successful, nor will you have the positive effects from the momentum created now. If you can't, or you're unwilling, I should say, to invest in yourself, then this is never going to work as a business, and perhaps this is an indicator that you're not quite as self-confident as you may have thought. Something to also think about. This is why all of this is not for everyone, and not everyone is capable or able to sustain their own business. Beyond the hard work and money, it's also going to take a level of risk. Now, yes, there are stories out there of that cute little girl who picked up her first camera and within 2 months seemed to have like 1 million followers on social media and never had to spend a dime, and is the first person to have a talk or something and say that you don't need to spend any money, okay? That's the exception, not the rule of business. And if you think that you can do that, then by all means, go and try. It might work, but chances are stories like that are very much unique with that specific person, and there will always be more to it than what you're told. So I choose to stay in the reality and do what's proven to work, period. Now, before you spend a dime, let's take a look at the plan. Number one, your website either sucks or it's filled with a bunch of crap that you know no one's going to want to pay you for. So you need new content. Your website and your content is your showroom. That needs to come first. You need weddings, and you need to show that you can do it and do it well. I think you should have at least 4 or 5 good weddings on your blog and website to start really marketing with money. So focus on that. Now, I said good weddings, so this may mean that you need to shoot 4 or 5 not so nice ones before you start posting anything really solid. You need to build credibility and confidence that is based on experience and not ego with not only other people, but with yourself too, and you need to make some mistakes to learn from in the field. In the beginning, getting wedding content on your site is worth way more than any money that they could have paid you. So don't make the silly amateur mistake of charging anything much for your service out of the gate. Don't think that you're worth more and that your images are already really good, okay? None of that matters now, and you're so far off the map that no one knows or cares who you are. They don't give a shit what you may think or want. If you're in fact worth more, this will rise to the top no matter what in time. But for now, you really need to sit down and be patient with this process first. Trust me, this is the smart play and the fastest way. So, your first mission becomes to find some weddings to shoot and or to start assisting others, even if that means doing it for free, which may be the best idea since you really don't have much experience, and at this point, you don't really want to over-obligate yourself. Now, I'm not going to get into the how of doing this. This will be saved for a future workshop that I'm putting together where I really hold your hand and I get into it. But I want to share the basic idea with you and at least program the mindset now so that the other stuff that I'm going to be advocating later on will sink in. This is really important for long-term success. Okay, so now you've shot a few very basic weddings, and maybe after 3 or 4, you've attracted one regular wedding that has all the moving parts to it, and you're starting to feel more and more confident, or you want to smash your camera on the ground in frustration like I did. Either way, you're making progress in building experience, and it shows on your website, which is your credit line to get better business in the near future. Here's a little tip that's not so little. Try to avoid a direct word-of-mouth referral from a good friend of yours right in the beginning. Go through some learning and experience first before you take on your friend's wedding, which I will always tell you to avoid. The reason is because your friends love you and they want to help you, so they may refer you to some of their friends. And God forbid, if you don't do a great job, or if they're not happy for any reason, it's going to get very awkward very quickly, and this is never worth it. So don't pay the price of a relationship in exchange for shooting a wedding. This is never a deal that you should take. Mark my words. This is actually a good opportunity to take control, actually be professional, and turn the situation around by standing up and saying, hey, you know what? I don't think I'm ready for that, but here is Travis Harris or whoever you like in your local market. They'll be a much better position to shoot your wedding. This way, you're the hero for the client. You're also the hero for referring business to someone else, and you may even be able to assist along with that photographer to get some nice shots or just learn a bit more. So it's a win for everyone, and it's the right thing to do. Keep that in mind, because the relationships you build along the way are going to be vital to your success in the future. Now, once you have your website sorted out and you have some nice weddings to show, it's time to start fueling the fire with marketing dollars. And this is really where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. Now, this is a long and involved topic all on its own, but all I can say is that you need to accept the fact that in the current landscape of social media, you really need to pay to play, period. Right now, CPC, cost per click, ads are your best bet for the initial traction. Now, this means that you're not just setting up an ad campaign and letting it go into autopilot. You have to manage it. You have to keep up with it. This is also only to get you booked up for the next several months, and then it needs to stop. The trick here is that the paid ads become your smokescreen or your babysitter while you go out and build actual real relationships with people, which is the next part of building momentum. You see, it's not about just paying for ads. It's about doing it right and understand the bigger advantage of what this means for you. You're not going to want to sustain your business on ads. That won't work well in the long term. Now, I've personally spent $52,000 in ads over the first 3 years of my business, and I fully understand what works and what does not. I also understand that the real value that ads provide is, in fact, time. Again, this is another example of where money buys time. So if I were to do this all over again, I would have spent half as much, maybe even less, and have way more relationships built in my corner as a result. So that's some advice that you can put right in the bank. There is very much an order, a process, and a plan with all this stuff. The relationship building becomes the foundation of your business in many ways, and this again is a whole topic all on its own, and it needs to be broken out in its own video workshop. It's just too complicated for me to get into it right now, and frankly, I need a more refined audience that is willing to invest in themselves for this level of direction, because the average person is just not going to get it. You know what I mean? Or they will never take action. And this is kind of the point of a paid workshop. It's about narrowing down the audience that I speak to only the select few that are going to be the doers, and then it all becomes worthwhile for both of us. But this at least gives you a very brief overview of what the initial plan is and how you will be spending your time and your money when you're first starting out. You also need to budget in some money on workshops, and whether that's with me or with anyone else that you admire, spending some money, and not crazy amounts of money, but some, will be in your best interest, and again, will save you time, which in the end is all about money. All right, that's about it for this talk. I have 24 workshop videos in my queue that I now need to finish filming. It's going to take me a bit longer to get my program all set up. And when I do, I will give you all some very awesome updates. If I don't see you all before the holidays, please have a very safe and happy holiday. Thank you all so much for your support to my channel, your comments, and just allowing me to come into your lives and hopefully add some value. Until next time.